Got to get my wires properly strung here, right? It's no good doing a live stream when your wires aren't properly strung, is it? It just doesn't make you a good showman. You know, kind of like showing your back to your audience. That doesn't make you a good showman either. Makes you a bad host, doesn't it? Morning, everyone. How are you doing? There's Bite down there enjoying his brush. Wow. Now you're going to pay attention, right? Because you know when I go and talk to the computer, I generally give you kitty treats, don't you? You know that's how it works, don't you? Yeah, that's how it works. It's the only reason you come out here, isn't it? You don't come out here when I'm watching TV at night, do you? No, because the kitty treats aren't coming at that point, are they? See, and then the second the kitty treats get put away, away he goes. Morning, everyone. How we doing? Where's Delaware, Ohio? Is that anywhere near Palestine? Morning, Susan. Hi, Suzanne. Hello, Scott, Cheryl, Janine, Bob, Nicholas, Sandra. Haven't seen you in here in a while, Sandra. Just north of Columbus, okay. I was into a band that was out of Columbus called Times New Viking. Yeah, my Minnesota shirt. Hi, Brian. How's everybody doing today? You guys are gonna have to pick up the slack because Rhonda said she's got to work today. So you're gonna have to carry the conversation a little bit more. Or this guy can. He can carry the conversation a little bit too, but his conversation is a little bit limited. It's just meow, meow, meow. I don't think anyone would sit around and watch that for 2 hours, right? How's my mom? My mom is actually doing better. I think she's dealing more with this on a psychological issue than anything else. She is getting better. They got the tube out of her throat. They're feeding her a little bit now, and things are working down there a little bit better. You like the videos this week? Thank you. All right, we've got Mrs. Magoo in here, huh? Bunch of names coming up here I haven't seen before. Getting a bunch of new people in here. That's cool. -9 Celsius. That's a heat wave. That's shirt pants and t-shirt weather. We're supposed to be maybe into the 70s today. It's been actually kind of warm for the last few days. That cold front that kind of hit California and kind of moved across the country has hit us a little bit, but it hasn't really been that cold. It's gotten into the 40s, I think, at night. That's about it. Not too bad. A spontaneous coverage of Waco. I was just blown away that I stumbled upon that. That was just complete serendipity. Because like I said, I shot a full video going around the bridge, talking about the bridge and showing it from different angles. And in the end, I ended up cutting most of that footage because I said I wanted to focus on this because this was such an important thing. Even at the time, I said it's a shame that there isn't a marker on the location. So now there is. And I'm glad to have been a part of that. There have been a couple of kind of important events that have happened in Waco that I've covered live because when they rededicated the Doris Miller Memorial, I was there for that too. Now I knew that was happening, so I went down there with the intent of seeing that. This, like I said, this thing with Jesse Washington, that just happened. I mean, you saw the video when I walked by it, and I looked at City Hall and said, "Oh yeah, there's something going on down there. Maybe we'll have to check that out later." That's what that was. It's funny. I got recognized at work a couple of weeks ago. Somebody came up to me at work and said that, yeah, he saw me. He ran into me recently. I was thinking, yeah, yeah. A month or two ago, we ran into each other at the Christmas fair downtown. And he says, no, I was bouncing around YouTube and said, oh, here we go. It begins. I knew it at some point somebody was going to figure out, was going to, those two worlds were going to collide. I've tried to keep the two separate. Nobody at work knows that I do the vlogging, and nobody here knows where I work. That's just a privacy thing. But I figured it was just a matter of time before somebody at work stumbled upon the vlog. Told them at the time, it's like, yeah, I kind of try and keep the two worlds separate. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, he isn't talking too much about it. Okay, I was looking at the little laser lights up there. It didn't look like they were moving to me, but I guess they are. The little projector that projects that stuff is old and it's starting to wear out. And so sometimes it doesn't spin. The lights will come on, but they'll just be stationary. Probably time to get a new one. I did a lot of on that Jesse Washington Memorial uh, historical placard thing that they put up. I did a lot of cutting early on because a lot of the politicians were just there patting themselves on the back for being great people. But when we got to the real speeches and the some of the people talking there, those are uncut because that's just gold from beginning to end. That woman who was the descendant of Jesse Washington, she was just classic. She just tore that place up. That was the highlight of the whole thing. Yeah, the singing too, absolutely. The first one, it was I kind of cut that a little bit, but the second time there was someone up there singing, that was in its entirety too. Sometimes you got to keep the videos a little short so people watch. Although I guess it's really more younger people that are more attracted to like 2 or 3 minute videos, and people like 35 and younger. That's like less than 1% of my audience. In fact, Epic Paul is probably it. That's my 1%. All right, let's start off with a vodka here. Hey, bye. You gonna come visit us a little more? Unlike Nibble, he'll usually come when he's old. Oh, I actually hear him. He's over here. Hi, Connie. Mom's doing better. In fact, she sent me a text last night. Let me read it to you here. There was a little a miscommunication because she texted me a couple nights ago or a couple days ago at work and said that there were some issues and she was going to have my sister call, but then she forgot to have my sister call. So, she started off, sorry about the mess yesterday. I told Brenda I told you Brenda would be in touch, but forgot to tell her. My bad. Better things happening today so far. They took the tube out because it seemed it wasn't sending out much. My tummy was dealing with most of it. The infection is getting better. White count is coming down, and I am on a clear liquid diet. So this has been so let this be your check-in for tomorrow. Happy Sunday and live stream. Hope you have a good week and ready for a break. Hello, the viewers. She's talking about California had some snow this week, which is really weird for where she is. Decent snowstorm yesterday, huge flakes still on the ground this morning. More tomorrow, they say. She's still asking for your prayers. Love, Carolyn. So there you go. Oops. Gotta. That's another thing that a professional vlogger doesn't do. He doesn't bump the camera. Yeah. Will passed a couple weeks ago. That was sad too. And we really went down exactly like Jordan said it was, because I remember watching the video where he kind of broke the news and basically he said at the time that the doctor said that if he doesn't do exactly what the doctor says, the hospital says right now, he was going to be dead in 3 weeks, and you know he was dead in 3 weeks. It's really sad. It's scary how fast that can happen because he wasn't that old, especially compared to me. Yeah, I know my mom appreciates that. She didn't, when she went to the hospital, she didn't bring her iPad. So I don't think she's gotten a chance to see any of the videos yet. But I keep telling her, got to watch the videos and see the comments because, most of my videos get, 8, 10, 12 comments. Between those two videos where I was given, reports about what's happening to my mom, there's more than 100 comments. And, it's all everyone offering repairs or offering repairs, offering prayers. And so, she, I think the biggest problem with this, she was just really down. Uh, she was really depressed. She missed my dad and said, I just really want to go home and be with him. And, that's really sad, but I think her spirits are boosting a little bit. But I also think it might have been the anesthesia might have been kind of affecting her a little bit. Hi, Black Dot. How are you? You gonna come up here and visit? Yeah, I knew it. Sometimes you just got to be dared to. Well, I'm hoping that there's actually double benefit from this surgery. That not only it, sorry, I got cat fur flying over the place now. That not only it solved the problem with her blockage now, but over the past year or so, she's been experiencing periodic bouts of constipation. And I started thinking after the surgery and after all this that maybe these things are all related, and maybe this will solve that problem too. Yeah, I saw that Jordan met the cast at Revenge of the Nerds. He actually sent me the photo of that's the cover photo of the for his video, and I was running through the list to say, okay, well, I've met Curtis Armstrong because let's see, can you even see him from here? Yeah, that picture right there in the background is a picture of me and Curtis Armstrong from a Vincent Price Film Festival. We Jordan and I attended a number of years ago, and he just happened to be there. And so I looked at that and said, "Well, that's Booger, and that's got to be Takashi next to him, and then that's Lewis next to him." And answered back to Jordan and says, "Who's the guy with the beard?" And I was thinking, I wonder if that's Ogre. And he replied back, "Yeah, that's Ogre." So that was totally cool. I mean, that's always been one of my favorite movies, and I think it's one of Jordan's favorite movies. And when we went and visited the college where that was all filmed on when we came here to Texas, that was, I think, probably the best vlog I ever went with Jordan on. One of my favorites. So I can imagine the excitement Jordan would have of meeting the cast. Have I ever owned a motorcycle? No, I haven't. I'd like to have one. It's just it isn't that high on my priority list. I've actually had this shirt for years and years and years. I mean, my grandparents were both in Minnesota, and I went and visited them, every couple of years for probably 10 or 12 years on straight. And I think I had this even before then. Where did I get it? Minnesota. It's actually kind of amazing. It still fits. Is it above or below pool table? It's below pool table. I'd rather have a pool table. If I suddenly came into some money, I'd get the pool table. And I mean, this living room is so big, I could put a pool table there very easily. There's enough. That's always the big issue with a pool table is do you have room for it? And it would definitely fit there. And that may happen at some point. Can't pick up chicks on a pool table. Yeah, but there's other things you can do on a pool table. What's my take on the China balloons? Brandon should have shot them down before they hit U.S. airspace. Now, I think now he's trying to prove that he's a tough guy by shooting down everything, and he's shooting down, science projects and other stuff like that. I saw a meme on the internet that said due to safety issues, a company that takes people up in balloons is temporarily discontinuing service. I don't know if Jordan's a pool table, although I think at one point he was talking about getting a dining room table that you could take the table off and was a pool table under. I don't know if he actually did that. I don't recall if he actually did that. But if he ever considered getting a pool table, then that must imply that he's at least somewhat interested in it. I would have a lot of fun with a pool table, though. And I could probably compress this room a little bit because I could move this couch this way, and that would open up the space a lot in here. Because I got a big, huge gap, over on this side, and I very rarely walk over there anyway. So I could probably go 2 feet that way, and that would make more room out there easily. And even with the extension on the table on the back there, there's still plenty of room out here. This is probably, this room is probably, I don't know, 30 feet end to end on this way and probably 25 feet this way. So plenty of room for a pool table. Any future travel plans? Not at the moment. Not at the moment. But I don't know. Maybe we'll do something this summer. I keep saying I want to go to Yellowstone, and summer would be a nice time to go to Yellowstone. People would say, "You're right. Come over for two pool parties." You're right. Yeah, I agree with you, Sandra. Pool table would be great. And I mean, not even just, it's just because I would love to have one. I would love playing pool. I do love playing pool. Anything new with the train? I got some additional track pieces to extend those the switch track extensions, and actually got a third switch track going in there now. But no, I haven't really done a whole lot with the train. In fact, I've been kind of sort of thinking for the last few days I may take it down for a while, put it away, so I can bring it up again next Christmas, or who knows, maybe during the summer. No, she's still in the hospital. They're thinking they're going to maybe put her into a nursing home for a couple days after they release her, just so they can kind of keep a close eye on her before they release her back to her apartment. But she's still in the hospital as of now. I think she's a little disappointed that she missed the snow, because it just doesn't snow very much in that part of California. I heard that it actually snowed in the Hollywood Hills, and that there was snow like on the Hollywood sign. Heavy rain everywhere else. They need it really in California. It's been a strange historic winter. Yeah, I don't know. This is probably the most mild winter there's been in Texas since I've been here. We didn't get any snow. We had a little ice storm that came through a few weeks ago that made the roads a little slippery. But every year I've been here so far, it snowed. So hasn't yet this year. Have they figured out a way to tax the snow in California? No, but I'm sure they're working on it. Tip that up here. It's another part of putting on a good video here is you got to frame up your shot right. Just doesn't work right when you do it this way, right? Likewise, it doesn't work if you do this. Now I am literally just a talking head. In telecommunications class, they said always put the eyes of the subject on about the 2/3 line. So divide the screen in half, and the eyes should be about 2/3 of the way up the screen. So pretty much right about there. That's a properly framed up shot. And you kind of want to have the camera kind of right on the same height as the eyes of the person who's on it. Otherwise you don't want a shot where the person's looking down on it, because then that kind of makes the person intimidating, and you don't want a shot where you're looking up on the person, because then that makes them look, it, it diminishes them a little bit. There we go. Only a few hundred feet above Phoenix, but you had snow this morning. Third time this year. Wow. Yeah, that is true, Suzanne. I know my father, in his final year when he was in the hospital a lot, his spirits were down a lot too. Hospitals are kind of depressing places. Previous to this, it only snowed once in 3 years. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a long-term history of Waco. This is only the fourth winter I've been here in Waco. But every year except this year, it snowed at least one time, and that's about right for me. I like it when it snows, but I wouldn't want to live in a place where it freezes solid for 3 months out of the year. Yeah, I think I'm kind of getting the hang of this. I think the biggest improvement with my videos is just I'm more comfortable in front of the camera. I've said this before, but you go back and watch that first video, and I had a real deer in the headlights look. I was uncomfortable. I never really liked, to be in pictures or in video or hear my voice or anything like that. I've it's kind of gotten to the point you get used to it. It's just like anything else. It was the same way when I was working in the CD world and had to start taking telephone calls from customers. I didn't like talking on the phone either, especially to strangers, but did it for a while and got to the point where I was really comfortable with it. I guess they say practice makes perfect. Not that I'm saying anything I'm doing now is perfect, but you know what I mean. Yeah, you're right. If you don't ski or snowmobile, uh, like I said, I like it because it's really pretty. It's kind of fun to be out, but I prefer it if it's days I don't have to go to work. You know what? I didn't even see that until you mentioned it. I guess it's better than calling me Brick, which happens all the time. Anytime, Black Dot. For these 2 hours, I'm basically yours. For the most part, anything you want to talk about, that's what I'm here for. You talk about your favorite kinds of bricks if you want. No, not going to see Rhonda today unless she stops in during a break. She had to work today. She mentioned that on the Facebook page. Nothing more than that, just a work day. I guess it probably was due to happen. It's we've had her for what 2 or 3 weeks in a row now. You have no E in your Bane. Gotta love spell check. Yeah, I've tried a few of them. What I got to do is really find some good like microwave burritos. They got some here, but they aren't really that impressive. They're tiny and they're flavorless. I don't know. I was able to find good microwave burritos in California. Not so much here, and that's what those hot sauces are going to be good for is Mexican food. But it doesn't have to be burritos. There's all sorts of Mexican food you can get. That's actually a good idea, Tracy. There are a few Mexican grocery stores. You ever tried dumplings and chicken? No, I've never. I don't think I've ever had chicken dumplings. I've been thinking about doing it, but because I saw a couple recipes. What's going on with the plants around the house? Nothing right now. Basically, just about everything got pummeled with the ice storm a couple weeks ago. But it's still too early to do anything out there yet. Yeah, KFC is still around here. I remember there was one right next to my apartment when I moved here. Did I decide which was better, Popeyes or Churches? Honestly, no. I mean, they weren't really that. I wasn't really horribly impressed with either of them. They're okay. I don't think they hold a candle to KFC. And somebody was mentioning today they prefer Chick-fil-A. And I mean, Chick-fil-A doesn't offer like fried chicken, but I agree. I think it's Chick-fil-A first for me. Their sandwiches are just so delicious. Only drag is you can't get them on Sundays. Chicken and dumplings are delicious. Yeah, there's a lot of people that love them. I've never had them, so I don't know. I know I like chicken. Chicken. I don't know if I even know what dumplings are. Doesn't sound really delicious, but a lot of people like them. So you have a hankering for something that's ethnic or whatever, you'll look for a grocery store in my area that caters for that specific crowd. That's a good idea because there are a lot of Spanish, Mexican themed stores in the area. That's actually a good idea. I might have to try to think about that. Because I mean, I've had better tamales too than I can get at the grocery store. I'm halfway thinking I want to learn how to make tamales just so I can make good ones. There was a girl that I used to work with at Disney whose grandmother would make tamales for Christmas, and she'd always bring in tamales for everyone for Christmas. In fact, it was funny. She said you could always tell how mad her grandmother was by how spicy the tamales were. And I said, well, next time you make tamales, your grandmother makes tamales. Do me a favor and make her mad for me because they were always nice and spicy, and I like them nice and spicy. Suzanne loves the dumpling. Huh? All right. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. Like I said, I've seen a couple of recipes for it. Might be a good bites and nibbles segment. Would be an excellent live cooking show. Yeah, maybe. I haven't done one of those in a while, have I? Yeah, I stay away from McDonald's. About the only thing good about McDonald's is their fries. And actually, Coke out of their fountains tastes really good too. But that's not much of a priority anymore for me since I gave up caffeine. Be fun to put in your 2 cents as I was cooking. Yeah, that would actually kind of be interesting. It'd be interesting if YouTube would give a feature, would add a feature to the live streams where you could actually talk and I could hear you. Of course, it'd probably just be a jumble. You get, there's 36 people in here right now, and if 36 people were talking all at once, you know, it would probably just be really chaotic. But maybe give me an option to just click on one person and let them talk for a minute or two, and have a conversation back and forth, and then switch to somebody else. Speaking of Bite, where is he? Bite, where are you? He's probably orbiting the couch somewhere. I don't know. I've never been on a Zoom call. I've done, teleconferencing, but that was way before Zoom. Oh, there's Bite. Yeah, he's walking behind the laptop right now. See if we can get him to come up and visit us. Come on up, Bite. Say hi. They're asking about you. You gonna come up and visit? Huh? Come on. Meow. There he is. That's my buddy. Yeah, it is sort of a Zoom call in one direction. Hey, Jeff, how you doing? But I think a Zoom call is actually two-way. It's conferencing. So, are you handsome? Yeah, they just called you handsome. Tuxedo cat. I don't know. He's just my buddy. You ever thought about planting sunflowers in my backyard? I don't know how well they do in the summer or in the winter here. I don't know. I don't see people with sunflowers here. You'd see them from time to time in California, but what I'm looking for right now is things that are going to do well when we get these freezes. Not just getting a steak tonight. That sounds good. Has my buddy in Hawaii hit 1,000 subscribers yet? No, he's still about 300, I think. I really wish we could get him up, push him up over the limit, get him to that 1,000 limit. But let's see, where is he right now? Oh, apparently I'm doing a live stream. That's news to me. Let's see. There he is. Yeah, he's got 310 subscribers right now. He just had his 1,000th video though, which is cool. He blew past me a few months ago. I'm still 850 some odd videos. Ribeye steak would probably be good. Are you having lunch with mom and dad? That's cool. Yeah, I've said it before. I always thought that Matt's videos are perfect, kind of perfect background stuff to run on your screen at work when you're not working on the computer. If you're doing some writing, just have that running in the background. So like having a window, looking out on a beach. Yeah, I knew what you meant, Tracy. I'm sure you weren't talking about the Mets. I mean, I do my part for Matt. I always have his videos running in the background on the computer there. One of these days, I actually want to like get like a flat screen TV here and just have it literally running over, maybe in the background right here, or maybe over here because they don't want to cover up the Texas flag or any of that. Thank you, Kimberly. Yeah, my mom's doing better, but she appreciates the prayers. Keep them coming. She's not out of the woods yet, but she's on the mend, so that's a good thing. Let's frame up the shot a little better here. Oh, okay. I was wondering what the Jeff said a minute ago. I'm at 12:18. That's that's really good, Jeff. I think I was the person that pushed Jeff over the 1,000 mark because I have like 5 or 6 YouTube accounts and only one of them was subscribed to Jeff. Only this one, and he was at like 998, and I said, I think we were talking or something like that, and I said, you know what, I'm going to push you over the top, and I went on, logged on to a couple of my accounts and subscribed. So good to see that he's continuing to grow. That's how it works. You just keep doing stuff and plugging along, and eventually it happens. Jeff has a good channel. Yeah, I do have a flat screen TV. In fact, I brought one back from California that belonged to my mom, and I've got it in the guest bedroom, but it isn't working too well in there. There's something weird with it. But maybe it's just the process that the setup is a little too complicated in there. Maybe a more simple thing would be to move it out here and just have it in front of, behind me running Matt's videos or something. Because that's the only downside to having it run there. Nobody even notices it. You can barely see what's happening. Oh, I'm glad I could do what I did, Jeff. I mean, I've been very, very lucky to have people pushing for me because, the only reason my channel is where it is because of Jordan. If it wasn't for Jordan pushing my channel, I probably wouldn't even be doing this anymore. And the truth is, without Jordan, I wouldn't even have started. And it's funny because Adam kind of helped Jordan get going. Jordan helped me get going, and I helped Jeff get going. And I think Matt or Jordan helped Jeff get going too. You still here, Bite? Yes, you are. Let's see, is it going to be the brush? Okay, that's enough. Jeff's checking out. Good seeing you, Jeff. Maybe you can stop in again a little bit later. How often am I cutting the grass? Not very often right now, because the grass basically goes dormant in the winter. It's all brown out there. Well, I'm just grateful that everyone watches. I mean, that's a big part of it too. If nobody was watching, I probably wouldn't do this. And keep brushing him like that. I'm gonna get another cat out of him. There's definitely enough further to do it. I mean, just in that amount of time, that's almost enough for another cat, right? Job is going good. I've been kind of doing a little something different lately, and that's kind of fun. There's a person that used to be in the department, had a position called material handler. And basically, it is his job to make sure that all of the materials that we need to manufacture the product we manufacture are available when they're needed. Well, he left the department a few weeks ago, and I've been kind of doing his job a little bit. And they were actually talking at one point, and I was kind of thinking about one point where I just move into his position. And after some talk with my boss and the likes, we all kind of came to the conclusion that that wouldn't be a good move for me, because you know I think they believe that I'm more valuable in my current role, which is kind of as I'm a backup different things. They want me just to be a backup material handler, and they're going to probably hire somebody to do that job full time. And I guess I'm more valuable to them doing that as a backup and also being a backup lead and backup this and backup that. I'm more versatile, and so I think they want to keep me in my current role, but they are talking about a promotion for me that may be coming pretty quick. And in fact, we just did annual reviews this past week, and I got a really good review. So got a nice little raise out of it, and going to get a nice bonus in a week, and use that money to get the pool ready. You're either having a stroke or the audio is out of sync. Anybody else experiencing that? I could see myself going into management. I mean, backup lead, that's one of the first things, first steps that you have, go into lead, then you go into supervision and management, and, the sky's the limit at that point. In fact, I don't know, a year or so ago, my boss actually said he envisions a day where I'm his boss. So I don't know, I guess I'm on the right track. All right, so your stroke healed itself, huh? Yeah, I mean, if sometimes it can be a technology thing, and if it continued, I was going to suggest, just stop the live stream and restart it again. How's my mom? She's doing better. She's still in the hospital. She gave me a statement the other day, and so I'm going to read that to you. There was a little confusion because a couple days ago she said that she was having she'd had a bit of a setback, and that my sister was going to call me later in the day or text me later in the day, and we talk about it. And my sister never did, and I ended up calling my sister, and she knew nothing of it. And so kind of got back to my mom. And so she starts off, sorry about the mess yesterday. I told you Brenda would be in touch, but forgot to tell her. My bad. Better things happening today so far. They took the tube out. She's had a tube going down her throat because since she's not eating, they got to kind of pump the acid out of her stomach. So that's been kind of irritating her throat a little bit. And I think that's been kind of making her be a little bit down. So they took the tube out, and because apparently it wasn't taking too much acid out of her stomach. Apparently, her stomach was dealing with it. Her infection is getting better. White blood cell count is coming down, and she's eating again. Well, she's on a clear liquid diet, so I guess she's drinking again. She doesn't drink, but you know what I mean. And so she says, "Happy Sunday and live stream. Hope you had a good week and ready for a break. Hello to all viewers. California had a pretty decent snowstorm yesterday, and it's still on the ground. More tomorrow, they say, and she continues to ask for your prayers. So yeah, keep them coming. They're working. Happy birthday to your husband, Tracy. Yeah, I was hearing there was snow on the Hollywood sign. I don't know. Let's see what's going on. We can always check out the weather here. See what's going on right now here. Yeah, I'm kind of looking where she is. She's still in the freeze zone, but and who knows, she may get a little snow. Let's move down to Southern California, see what's going on there. Yeah, I don't see a whole lot going on right now in Southern California. That seems to be over. What is that? Is that like looks like most of Central California, east of the mountains, is in blizzard zone, blizzard and winter storm warning. So that's sort of the area up around where my mom is, up near Folsom. Let's see if we can get it so you can see it here without all the glare. Let's see. Not even zoomed in far enough. You can see Folsom here. Yeah, so there's Folsom right there. And so you can see there's a little bit going on here, but most of it seems to be east of them. So maybe the worst of it is over. Thanks, Black Dot. I'm sure that my mom's going to watch these when she gets out of the hospital. She hasn't seen the last two live streams, let alone this one or any of the videos I've done the past couple of weeks. So it was when she went to the hospital, it was just kind of a sudden thing, and she brought her cell phone, but she forgot to bring her iPad. So That took care of Bite. Wow, I can't believe we're already almost an hour into this. But I guess I should know. I'm almost through my first glass of vodka. Cat fur still flying around here. You gonna come up here again? I just washed this thing and it's already covered with cat fur. Cats got locked in their room last night because I put this thing in the washer, and the reason I basically have this thing on is to keep the cat fur off the couch. And sometimes at night they'll come out and sleep here. Escaping reality with Brick. Yeah, there you go. Or we're already building another second cat. The construction has already begun. You gonna come up again? Yeah, that earthquake in Turkey and Syria was really bad. And yeah, earthquakes like that will create aftershocks for years. You remember that earthquake I covered about 3 years ago in California? There's still aftershocks happening there. There's 20 or 30 of them a week. They're little ones, but when you get earthquakes like that, you get a big, massive earthquake. That ground is going to be moving for years. Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. It must have something to do with 10,000 lakes. I have another Minnesota shirt that I think I still have it that I've had for years and years. It says years and years and years. It says Minnesota, land of 10,000 lakes, 15,280 swamps, and 8 fish. Right? You've never been to Minnesota though, have you? So you have no idea what that's even about. One down, one to go. Well, I might have caught a few of them. Minnesota, state bird is a mosquito. It's one of the things I do remember. I got eaten alive by the mosquitoes in Minnesota. When's my next vacation? I don't know, sometime. I think this time I want to go to like Yellowstone and see the geysers and all that. That's something, when I was a kid, my family used to go to national parks for family vacations every year. And so I think that's kind of where I developed my love of nature. And, I also have a fascination with geology. So Yellowstone would be a great, a great vlog because, it'd be the nature and it would also be the geology because Yellowstone is an interesting geological feature. And yes, it'd be the national park, not the TV show. Never even watched the TV show. I don't know. Everybody raves about it, but I've been to Minnesota a bunch of times. But you're right. That'd be fun too. Go there and visit some of the places I've been. Visit family. Visit graves of family. Because I know we've been to a bunch of the graves. In fact, I think one of the times I went with my dad, it was kind of a family reunion kind of thing. I think it might have been when my great aunt Lillian celebrated her 100th birthday, and while we were there, we kind of went, grave searching and found all sorts of graves. And at that point, I had, a primitive GPS on my phone, and so what I would do is, find the grave and then, shoot a photo of it with the cell phone showing the GPS coordinates. I think I still have all that. Because both sets of grandparents are now gone. And I think I know where many of the great grandparents are buried. So yeah, I think I'd really enjoy doing a Yellowstone video. A lot of going out on hikes and looking at hot springs and some of the geysers. Like apparently, there's more geysers in Yosemite than everywhere else on the planet combined. How's my mom? My mom is doing better. She's been a little bit down because of what's going on, but they had a tube going down her throat because I guess they were, when she's not eating, they have to kind of pump the acid out of her stomach. But I guess they pulled the tube out just because they decided that her stomach was dealing with it on her own, and she's on basically eating, consuming liquids, clear liquids at this point. So I guess it's probably a lot of water and stuff like that. But that's better than what she was doing. She was off of food for almost 2 weeks. I mean, I think it'll be 2 weeks that she went into the hospital tomorrow. Worked at a church where Grumpier Old Men was filmed. That's interesting. I heard that there was a movie that was filmed near one of the places I used to work before I worked at Disney. I worked at a company called ODC, Optical Disc Corporation, and apparently there was a remake of the movie Guess Who's Coming to Dinner called simply Guess Who, and I think starred Ashton Kutcher. And I guess there was a scene that was shot right outside where the company I worked at was. I don't know. That was interesting, I thought. Soggy SoCal. Yeah, I heard that you guys got some rain. Last I heard, my mom might be out of the hospital in the next few days, but they want to put her kind of into a nursing home for a couple days just to kind of monitor the situation until she's ready to go back to her apartment. Thank you, Tammy. I appreciate that. Yeah, keep her in your thoughts and prayers. She needs them. What part of Minnesota is my family from? My dad, grew up in the Twin Cities. My mom actually was born in Wisconsin, but lived in different parts in Minnesota, uh, up kind of northern Minnesota, in a place called Babbitt, Minnesota, and then her parents moved to a place in central Minnesota, a little out of Cambridge called Bram, and that's where they spent the rest of their life, and that's where they're buried. And of course, my dad's parents are in the cities. My uncle still lives there. He lives a couple miles from Mall of America, and then I have my mom's brother and his family live in southern Minnesota in a town called Austin. I don't have any cooking segments coming at this point, but cooking vlogs are, they aren't usually pre-planned that much. It's usually a get up one day and it's like, well, let's do a cooking vlog today. So who knows? There could be one this week. Somebody was mentioning chicken and dumplings a little earlier, and that's kind of got my mind wandering a little bit. That might be an option. I think I got a chicken and dumplings recipe for the Instant Pot. What are my thoughts on air fryers? I've heard a lot of people that have them and really love them, and some people, they're trying to get me to get one, but I've never used one specifically. But like I said, a lot of people have them, a lot of people love them. So the only thing that would really hold me back from getting one is I got so much stuff in the kitchen right now. I don't know where I put it. Chili. Now that I'm in Texas, I need to find a good chili recipe. Yeah, a lot of people say that they love their air fryers. And here's Jean. She's right there in that crowd. But yeah, I'd love to have a good chili recipe. I've tried a couple of chili recipes. Haven't really found anything yet that I really like. There's like a packaged chili thing that I found at the grocery store that I really kind of like. Here, I'll go get the packet. Let's just see what it looks like. I've never seen it anywhere else, but I've had it a few times. It's pretty good. Ugh. All right, let's get ourselves all set up here. Get the laptop back in position, TV tray with a mouse here, in case I have to go over after any trolls. Um, this is something that I found. I guess it's something here from Texas, and I just kind of tried getting, different, pre-mixed chili recipes and trying them out. And this is one I really like, and it's really simple. It's just the powder that's in here. It's ground beef, tomato paste, chicken broth, and this mix. And then if you want, you can spice it up with some serrano peppers. And I always do that, and it creates a really good, pretty tasty chili, good flavor, and like I said, you add the peppers to it, and it's just really good. So, yeah, that's what I like. I don't know if you can get this stuff if these guys got a website or something. Oh, it says here it's made exclusively for HEB. Let's see. I don't see a website on it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you can order it online through HEB. See what I'm caught. What I'm got to catch up on here. Hey, Mark, how's it? How you doing? My mom's doing better. She's still in the hospital, but they pulled the tube out of her throat, so I think she's getting a little bit better. They're letting her eat a little bit, and so hopefully she's on the mend. Maybe she'll get to go home or at least get out of the hospital. I think they want to put her in a nursing home for a couple of days just to kind of monitor the situation. Yeah, did you send me the Chasen's chili recipe? I think somebody sent me that because I remember seeing that at some point. And you're right, I'm not really into beans. They make me a little gassy if you catch my drift. Next time I'm in Austin, there's a famous chili restaurant near the Capitol. Interesting. Does it have cornstarch? You talking about this stuff? I don't know if that's one of the ingredients in it. Let's see. Ingredients: chili peppers, salt, spices, garlic, onion, sugar, brown sugar, beef flavor, yeast extract, natural flavor, silicon dioxide, corn oil, calcium stearate, and turmeric. So I don't know what all that is, but it says Best Buy bottom of box, and I don't see it. Oh, I guess it's there. But yeah, that stuff's pretty good. It's pretty easy to make. Basically, you just mix all the ingredients together and let it simmer for like 10 minutes and you're good to go. Oh, it says simmer for 30 minutes. So good stuff. Yeah, I mean, I've had beans and chili and stuff like that, but I kind of prefer my chili without beans. Must be time for a hot sauce tasting. Yeah, we could probably do that too. Do I put hot sauce in my breakfast burritos or pretty much all of my food? I found that there's different types of hot sauces that are good for different things. And when you're dealing with eggs, I think Tabasco goes best for that. But the hot sauces are good for any Mexican food. I also got there's a sandwich place throughout the country called Schlotzsky's. I guess they originated down in Austin, Texas, and there's at least one or two of them here in Waco, and they've got like a house hot sauce, and I find that stuff is really good for like Italian food. So like sandwiches that have you know, sausage or anything like that, any of the kind of things you might find at like Schlotzsky's. It's really good for that. And then, like I said, the hot sauce is good for Mexican food. And I do El Tapatio and a couple other things, plus all that stuff that I got with recently at different locations. Good to see you. Adventures with Outdoor Eagle. Glad you're here. Yeah, I'm exactly the opposite. I love it spicy. If you watch recent vlogs of mine, I've gone a couple different places where I've gotten different kinds of hot sauces, and I tend to gravitate towards the really spicy end of things. I appreciate that, Mark. I know my mom does too. It was called Beano. That's funny. I think spicy is kind of an acquired thing, and I honestly have this theory that the more spicy things you do, you actually burn your taste buds off, and are less sensitive to it. Beano is good for lactose intolerant. Yeah, I guess that would probably be the same thing, wouldn't it? It is definitely an ironic name. How's Flash? Flash is outside right now. It's warm enough to let her be outside, but it's cold enough. She's still kind of in hibernation mode, so she's in her box right now. But she was out a little bit last week because we were into the 80s, and so once when it's not like 30 degrees or something where I have to have her in the garage, I'll put her in her box, and if she wants to come out, she can do that and kind of go do her thing. But right now, it's a little too cold for her. It's supposed to be warming up a little bit this week, though, so hopefully we'll see a little bit of her. Let's see, what are they saying for the weather today or this week here? Come on, I hate that app. There's this built-in app on my phone that I've never ever once wanted to use, but it's put in such a place where I'm always activating it. And I activate it like, hundreds and hundreds of times. I've never once actually wanted the thing, but I can't seem to get rid of it. I think when I get the next phone, that's the first thing I'm going to ask is, are there any apps built onto this phone that I can't delete? Yeah, see, they're looking at 87 by Tuesday, 79 today, 79 tomorrow, 87 on Tuesday, and then I guess maybe some rain coming in on Wednesday. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, we'll do occasional flash videos. People love to see her. I know Beth still misses her. I saw she posted a one of her 3-year-old memories this past week, and it was a picture of Flash, and she said she still misses her. I think at some point Beth will probably end up going out and getting her own going out and getting her own tortoise. No, I've tried uninstalling it. It's crazy because there's actually a button on the phone, this button here, that uh, launches it. And it's exactly the opposite side as the power button. So when you're pressing the power button, you're also holding the phone on this side, and you inadvertently end up launching this thing. And no, you can't uninstall it. Believe me, I've tried. Do I have Verizon? Yeah, I have Verizon. Your girlfriend makes great chili. It's not too hot, but you can feel the heat. And well, if it's a great chili, it's easy to goose it up a little. Be a great gift for Beth. I know. Well, if I could find one, I mean, I've heard someone say that there's a tortoise rescue here in Texas somewhere, down south somewhere, maybe like 100 miles from here. And I've looked to see if they had another tortoise of the same species as Flash, and apparently they don't. How hard was it for me to leave California? Not hard at all. I'd wanted to get out of California for a long time, and yeah, it was the best choice I ever made. Have I ever grown my own peppers? Yes, I have a garden in the backyard, and the last couple of years I have grown my own jalapeno, habanero, and serrano peppers, and I do make my own hot sauce. One of my viewers um, either works or worked in a Mexican restaurant, and he sent me their house recipe, and I make that all the time. I've got some of that in the fridge and in the freezer at all times. That eclipse is a little bit more than a year away. I think it's March of next year, I think is what it is. I'm definitely looking forward to that. I've never seen a total eclipse of the sun. I've seen a few partials, but this one's going to be great because it's going to come right through the middle of Waco. Refresh your memories. Where and when did it get flashed? It was a funny story. I was still living at home with my parents at that point. My mom was on her way to work one morning, and she just pulled the car out of the garage, and she came and says, "Brett, there's a tortoise out in the front yard." And went out and got her and brought her into the house because we were brought her into the backyard because we were concerned about her. And looked around for signs of people said they're missing a tortoise and never found her. And that was like 30 years ago, and still have her. That's how she came into my world. She lived at my parents' house for a long time until in the what was it, 1997, I bought my first house. And it was a year or two before I got to the point where the yard was capable of sustaining her. And she came over to my house at that point and lived there the entire time. And, and then when I moved away, she went back to my parents' house. And then when my parents decided to move into a retirement house, they gave her to Beth, and Beth had her for a couple of years, and it went from and then she came here. Well, I do have a telescope. You don't want to use a traditional telescope for looking at the sun. You will fry your eyes if you do that. Now they have filters that you can put on a traditional telescope for looking at the sun, but I actually have something that's called a Keplerian folded telescope that's designed specifically to look at the sun. And I've done a couple of videos on that. If you want to, you can go back and look. Put go back and look. There's a couple of videos I did of that, and I'm definitely going to pull that one out on the day of the eclipse. I'm still thinking that if I'm still vlogging, then I want to live stream that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, growing different kinds of peppers are very, very popular here in Texas, and I love them anyway. So it's definitely been something I've enjoyed doing. I usually go with tomatoes and peppers in the garden. And last year I did some okra, and that was a wildly successful crop. But I'm not enough of a person to enough of a fan of okra to do that again. But like I said, it was fun to try and was very successful. But yeah, I've done peppers of different types every year. I'm not really into like bell peppers and stuff like that. It's got to be spicy. But I've done jalapeno and habanero and serrano peppers. Uh, the peppers I did last year didn't do very well. It was a weird year, summer weather-wise, and I think that was part of the problem. Time for Gene to go to church. Thanks for stopping in, Gene. Good talking to you. It's funny that you mentioned the telescope that can do video because um, a week and a half ago, I went in and took training at work to learn how to drive the company's forklifts. And turned out I was talking to the guy who was doing the training. He was some outside contractor. He came in, and he's sort of an amateur astronomer. And we were talking about telescopes, and he was giving me some advice. Let's see if I because and one of the things he said is he had a YouTube channel, and I didn't tell him about mine, but I said that's interesting, and I ended up subscribing to his channel. Let me see if I can find it. He says, it's just a little channel. He's got a few hundred subscribers and the likes, but you know, he does a lot of experimenting with different kinds of telescopes and stuff like that. And I was thinking that that would be kind of fun. Let's see if I can find that here. Let's see. I got to go back to the regular YouTube app here because I subscribed to his channel on the spot just because I wanted to, check out. Okay, there we go. Subscriptions, Matt's, Jeff's, Jordan's. Okay, here we go. Epic Paul. There, that's it. Yeah, his channel is called Jedi Space, and it's him and his wife, and they do videos about telescopes and stuff like that. And I guess he's let's see, what has he done here? One about meteorites, his visit to the Johnson or the Houston Space Center, and includes like a lot of photographs and stuff like that that he's shot through his telescope. And he was giving me some advice on some stuff that you could do that's actually not terribly expensive telescope wise. So yeah, I don't know. You might see some telescope videos at some point. I would definitely enjoy getting a telescope. He was talking about, $1,500 or $2,000 for a telescope, and I mean that sounds like a lot of money, but that's actually pretty reasonable. And some of the stuff that you can do, some of the technology that's on these things these days is really, really cool. And it'd be really, really fun, I think, to do a live stream, of the telescope, and look at different things, look at Jupiter, look at Saturn, look at Mars and Venus, and some local phenomena, galaxies and nebula and all that kind of fun stuff. Because I mean, I've, those of you who watch me, I have a telescope, but this one's a little more than a toy. And honestly, one of the clamps that kind of holds it in place is broken, so it's not even really any good anymore. I don't use it anymore, and it's not that powerful. You can get kind of fuzzy images of Jupiter and see, a couple of its moons, and you get a fuzzy image of Saturn and all that. But if you can only see two or three things, it's great for looking at the moon. But I get just pretty much almost as good results looking at the moon through a pair of binoculars. So yeah, I've never grown cucumbers, and but I love pickles. Better not stop about thinking about stopping vlogging anytime. There's no plans for that at this point. Yeah, right. I mean, that's how awesome is that picture? And I don't know if you can see it, but that's a video he shot of Saturn. And like I said, I guess there are uh, filters you can get for looking at the sun because this is a video he did looking at the sun through a filter. You wouldn't want to do that through my telescope because I don't have a filter on there, but like I said, I have that folded Keplerian telescope, and that's the way to go there. Are there any cool apps to check out? Yes. In fact, there's one reason I went with Android over Apple, and it is this app right here. I saw this before I got my first smartphone, and I saw someone demonstrate this, and I said, "Wow, that is the coolest thing ever." It's by Google, and you know how they got Google Maps. Well, this is called Google Sky, and and basically you just point the phone in the sky in the direction you want, and it figures out what you're looking at, and it shows you, oh, that's the planet Jupiter. Oh, that's Saturn. Oh, Pluto's over there. And if you have like, meteor showers, it'll tell you, this is where they're coming from. And so, there's an Apple version of the sky map, but it pales in comparison. This is the coolest app. It's called Sky Map, and it's a very cool app. And like I said, it's been on my front page for forever. You can see right now I'm just kind of, turning it around here. You can see right now, I think that's Jupiter. Let's see, I gotta see. It's hard to read backwards here. Sorry, excuse me for a second. Jupiter, Venus, and Neptune. So yeah, that's Jupiter, Venus, and Neptune right here. And so they're all kind of right there, right next to each other in the sky. And right now, Neptune is below the horizon. That's what this line is the horizon. Now, obviously, you can't see it because it's light out, but this thing is a really cool app. It shows you the constellations and everything that's around there. And so, yeah, this is the coolest app ever, and it's probably one of my favorite apps. So definitely go check that one out. It's called Sky Map. You can get it on the Android store. It's free. Check it out. It's like I said, it's the coolest app ever. It's the reason I went with an Android over an Apple because I saw that and said, okay, we're not even going to consider Apple because that app is just too cool. No, but but I have another app that does satellites. Let me see. I got to find that one. I don't look at that one as much. I think it's focused mainly on the space station. Yeah. So yeah, this one this is called. Let's see, what is it called? It's called ISS detector. So ISS is International Space Station, and it's oops, not that one, not Indeed. No, I'm not interested in Indeed. Sorry, I accidentally touched the button here, but it's that one right there. It's called ISS detector, and it'll tell you when the space station is going to be up, and a few other satellites too. I don't use that one as much, but it is kind of fun. Every once in a while, I'll look up and I'll see the space station, and I'll say, "Oh, is that it? Yep, that's it." Gosh, we're 35 minutes into the second hour, and I've only taken a little bit of a sip of my second glass of water. I got to start picking up the pace here a little bit. Oh yeah, astronomy was the first thing I was ever into myself as a kid. And in fact, I remember there was a book fair at school. I think when I was in the second or third grade, and my parents took me to it, and they said I could buy one book, and I found a book on astronomy. In fact, I got it out. I still have it. Yeah, this is it here. This is it's just, I mean, I've read it so many times as a kid that the binding is literally coming apart. The pages are all coming out. But yeah, that was the first book I ever got. That's something I chose on my own. Look at the price on that, 39 cents. And I've had that probably since I was, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old. And that started my fascination with astronomy. I've been into astronomy my whole life, and it all started with that book. How are the cats? The cats are good. Nibble, she hangs out in her room. Bite literally is walking. He heard his name, and so Bite's kind of walking around here right now. Maybe we'll get him to come up here and visit us. Bite, come here, buddy. They're asking about you. Come on up. You gonna come say hi? I think he's going to. Come on. Meow. Meow. Come on up. You got the brush? Yeah, here he comes. There he is. There's Bite. So yeah, he's here. Sorry if I said water, I meant vodka. Oh, hi, Kathy. Yeah, I don't blame you for changing the name. I got to admit, Kathy Shaw is a lot easier to pronounce. You'll notice that there's some people out there that I don't ever actually say their name on the channel because I don't know how they pronounce their name. I don't like pronouncing people's names wrong. So there's people out there that I talk to them all the time, but I don't know how to pronounce their name. So Kathy Shaw is definitely a lot easier. Because I think in the past I probably just called you Kathy all the time. There's our co-host. He's my buddy, and he loves the brush. See, I know how to pronounce Diane Miller. How are you, Diane? That is one happy kitty. Can you believe that somebody abandoned him and his sister? Found him 5 weeks old in my backyard eating bugs. Trust me, they weren't so fat then. Coming up on your 16th birthday, aren't we? I think March 20th is what we're predicting is your. We didn't really know because I found him at 5 weeks old as strays, and they estimated it was probably about March 20th that they were born. So that's always sort of been their unofficial birthday party. And they've been with me for 16 years now, almost. Well, actually, they haven't been with me. They've been on the earth for 16 years. Won't hit the 16th anniversary of them coming to live with me until we get to about late April, early May. It's possible, but I'm not sure how two 5-week old kittens got over an 8 foot tall cinder block wall. The only thing I figure is somebody must have abandoned them in my backyard. Probably figured I already have a cat, so I'd probably be a big old softy and take them in. Yeah, that's my buddy. Haven't done a belly rub video yet today. He generally isn't very tolerant of being handled, but he accepts it when the belly rubs are coming. Man, I already had a cat at the time too, so I kind of became a crazy cat man. Where I had 3 cats at the same time. I don't know if I'd do multiple cats again, but I couldn't separate them. They've been together all their life. Like I said, I got to pick it up on the vodka here. Okay, Black Dot's checking out. Thanks for stopping in, Black Dot. It's always great to have you. Yeah, I can pronounce your name, Mark. Oh, I love cold beer too. We had a cat in the front garden for 3 months. Was so nervous, wouldn't let you near him. Yeah, Nibble's sort of that way too. I don't know what happened in the first 5 weeks of her life, but it's affected her all her life. She just doesn't want anything to do with people. Bite, on the other hand, became the world's biggest lap cat. He just loves attention. He doesn't like to be picked up and held. But if you want to give him a good scratch, he'll be your best buddy forever. Kid just found out you have borderline diabetes. Yikes. That's no fun. That's something you can usually control though. if you change your diet and stuff like that, you can sometimes gain control of that. Diet, exercise, medication. Yeah, walking is a good thing to do. I'm lucky. I just love to walk. In fact, one of the things I love at work is I'm walking a lot more. It's a big building we're in, and we're walking all the time. Now, diabetes is no joke. Absolutely not. Any more house projects? I think the next project. Well, I got a couple more things I'm going to be doing in upcoming weeks. I need to replace the sand and the filter in the pool for the pool. I need to get the pool into back under control because I lost control of it right at the end. And I also got to replant the yard because it got pummeled by the rain. That's really the first step to beating diabetes is setting your mind to it. And like I said, it can be done. You just gotta it's diet, it's exercise, and it's proper medication. Cat that I had before Bite and Nibble, I lost him to diabetes. He got it right at the end of his life, and it was crazy because I just spent a ton of money. Or I just spent refinanced my house to pay off my credit card debts, and ended up driving it right back up to the top, uh, trying to keep him alive, and only kept him going for about 6 months. It was hard. It's hard to watch a pet suffer. He was a good boy. He was a good cat. Let's see if I got any pictures of him. I'm pretty sure I do here. Photos. There we go. There we go. Is that it? No. Yeah, put more into that. I got a folder in my Facebook page of pets past and present, but there's only two pictures in it, and both of them are dogs. Yeah, I guess I don't. And I was gonna try and show you a picture of Cat. That was his name. His name was Cat. He was a cat. Let's see, I didn't have him in a profile picture, did I? Nope, guess not. That's funny. There's me and Buzz Lightyear. But Cat was a beautiful, beautiful cat. I got him at the pound when he was about 12 weeks old. Yeah, attention span does seem to be lacking in today's youth. There's so many things to stimulate people these days, between, movies and TV and cell phones and all that. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm seeing it at work too. The young kids that they hire at work, they just rarely work out because they can't keep focused. It's probably been, well, I'm coming up on 4 years in Texas. 4 years or 5 years? I think it's 4 years. And so, yeah, I'm just about, probably shot my first vlog about 4 years ago. And then I came to Texas in May. Best decision I ever made. Everything just really turned around here. And it was probably just a few weeks before I shot my first vlog that Jordan actually talked me into it. I remember that story. I probably told that a couple times, but I had decided at that point that I was kind of going to move to Texas. And it was right after the new year, and the department I worked in, the parades department at Disneyland, had decided that they were going to shut down all parades in California Adventure for the year. And so my hours went to nothing. And so, as if, my decision to leave California and come to Texas hadn't already been set, that was kind of the final straw. And when the parade stopped, I made a decision that I wanted to come here and look around and see where it was specifically I wanted to come, because Texas is a big place. And so I flew here in probably mid-January and spent about a week here, kind of drove around. I kind of had a hotel in Dallas, and I went to several different places that I wanted to check out and see what was there. And one of the places I visited was Waco, and I just kind of fell in love with the vibe of this place. It had, it was big enough to have everything you need, but still small enough to have kind of a small town feel to it. And I loved all the trees and greenery and stuff that was here. And that was how I kind of made the decision. And one night while I was in the hotel, kind of getting ready for the next day, um, Jordan and I started texting back and forth, and he'd already been vlogging at that point for a couple of years. And he thought the idea of me picking up, starting my life over in a different state and moving to a new state and starting a new job and getting all that going, he thought that would be a great vlog. And we talked back and forth for, I don't know, probably an hour. He sent me an example of some guy who'd started a vlog. Apparently, he'd just become homeless and was living in his van, and he started a vlog. And apparently, the vlog had initially become really successful, but then he did something, I guess, and blew it and all that. But he used that as an example. Says you really ought to come. You really ought to start vlogging this. And I was really against the idea initially because I'm not somebody that likes being in pictures. I don't like to have my picture taken. I didn't like being in video. I didn't like the sound of my voice, in recordings and stuff like that. So I was really resistant to it. And it continued for a while. When I came back, Jordan just kind of kept the full court press going. And I think it was probably March or so that I produced my first vlog. And I wasn't doing them daily. I think the first one, there, it was like a 2 week gap between the first and second one. And didn't really start doing them daily until I got to the point where I was ready to move. And that was when Jordan came along with me, and he says, okay, well, what you need to do is get a couple days ahead, because that's what he did. You got a couple days ahead because he was concerned even at that time that if you posted a vlog and people knew where you were, they'd come look for you. But if you're traveling and you post a vlog, but it doesn't go live for a couple of days, by the time people figure out where you are, you're already at the next place. And he was starting already to wise up about, giving away too much personal information. And that was his advice to me. And I started off being really, really cautious about what I shared. I didn't want people to know where I lived. I didn't want people to know where I worked when I got the job. And that was basically, things I learned by watching and being friends with Jordan and watching what he was doing. Because the truth is, and I can say this now because he doesn't live there anymore, but that apartment he lived in when he first started vlogging, if you really paid attention to like the first 50 episodes, you could pin down what apartment he lived in, what floor he was on, and within 1 or 2 units, which room he was in. So, I realized even then, I said, yeah, you got to be careful. You could, because, might have some weird stalker come after you. And by the time he moved out of that place and moved into his second apartment, he wasn't even telling people what city he was in. And then when he moved out of that place and left California, he didn't even say what state he was in. And that was, I think, him learning that there's some weirdos out there, and you got to be careful. There, that just killed about 10 minutes of time, right? I know. I'm coming up on. I've been in this place for 3.5 years already. I think, yeah, I think 3.5 years. No, no, not 3.5, 2.5 years. Because I'm coming up on my third year anniversary at work. So 2.5 years. It'll be 3 years in July. Yeah, I appeared in a couple of Jordan's live streams early on too. Because I got to, we were friends, and he knew the kinds of things I was into, and we had a lot of overlap on things that we liked. And so, yeah, we got to go. I got to go on a lot of adventures with him early on. That was fun. Yeah, people are way into gaming. They're way into their cell phones these days. Yeah, but you don't know that it is just a harmless fan. There's some weirdos out there. I mean, remember Rebecca Schaefer? Google that if you don't get that reference. So yeah, we're 4 years into vlogging. I never imagined when I started doing this that 4 years later I'd still be doing it. I figured this would be something would go for 6 months and that'd be the end of it. Yeah, that's how most of you found me is through Jordan. I mean, I think a lot of people, you know, are that a lot of my new subscribers now are finding me, just because YouTube is recommending me. I mean, early on in this live stream, there were half a dozen people that popped on here I've never seen before. Have a good walk, Diane. Yeah, I might go out and take a walk tonight too. I like walking at night because it's quiet and it's dark and it's just a good time to be out and walking about. It's more important to walk at night during the summer because it's really hot here in the summer and it cools off. It might be in the 80s, so it's nice to be out walking at night here in the summer. But I like walking in the winter. I was kind of looking at Matt's video there. It looks like he has drone footage, but I guess what he is, he's just driving and filming. Usually his videos are just him. He puts the camera on the tripod and aims at the water 10 or 20 minutes. But every once in a while, you get an action scene like we got going on here. I haven't talked to Matt in a long time. We connect up, through instant messaging from time to time. Anyone else having problems with me freezing up? I saw something on my screen a minute ago that said my connection had become unstable, but it's gone away now. So, anyone else experiencing that? It froze for about 10 seconds. Yeah, that's about how long the warning was on my screen. So that might have been my end. It happens from time to time. I mean, at this point, we're coming pretty close to the end of this one anyway. I've been on here for 2 hours now, and that's usually what I guarantee. Yeah, I'm extremely grateful to everyone who watches, especially those of you who watch, every episode and are here for every live stream. It means so much to me that you guys are here like this. You're like family. I mean, that's not hyperbole. I mean that. But anyway, I put in my 2 hours, so I got to go figure out what I'm going to do for a vlog today. So I'm going to pull the plug on this one. Thanks, everyone. I had a great time today. I'll see you next week, and thanks for watching. Good night.